biology, neurology, sorry. I want to request chairperson to introduce our speaker.
Can I start? So, a very good morning, everyone. I thank you all for being here at ISKCON. The concept of brain reset invites us to rethink midlife not as a period of decline, but as a phase of dynamic neurobiological adaptation. Understanding the interplay between cognition, mood, and neuroendocrinology may reshape how we approach brain health and well being. So, I welcome you all for the wonderful session on menopause, cardiometabolic things, brain things, and there are so many new things to learn in this conference, I feel. So, I am really thankful to you all. Now, what we perceive, menopause is the function of ovaries, and when ovaries fail, menopause occurs. But it is not so. It is a major neurodevelopmental transition similar to puberty or pregnancy, and it should be given equal weightage like we give to pregnancy. Brain undergoes a profound metabolic and structural renovation to adapt to low estrogen levels and eventually stabilizes into newly calibrated, resilient post-menopause state. Estrogen is a master bioenergetic regulator in female brain. When it drops, there occurs sudden fuel crisis. So the core concept is reset, which represents the brain's neuroplastic adaptation. It is the story of neuroplastic adaptation, not anything which is doing permanent decay to your brain. Shifting away from a high estrogen energy program to a sustainable post-menopause decline. A very famous neuroscientist, Lisa Mosconi. She is author of so many books, The XX Brain, The Menopause Brain, The Brain Food. She says, when estrogen doesn't activate the hypothalamus correctly, the brain cannot regulate body temperature and the hot flushes the woman gets, that is the hypothalamus. When the brain is tame, who is in charge of sleep and wake? When estrogen levels drop, it has trouble sleeping. And when the amygdala and hippocampus are affected, the mood swings, the sleep issues, forgetfulness, everything occurs. So what is estrogen? Estrogen is not only to maintain femininity, to give pregnancies, to give puberty. It is brain's master modulator. It is not only a reproductive hormone, it is neuromodulator. And it conducts the neurological orchestra for serotonin, dopamine, acetylcholine, GABA, etc. So we all know only estrogen is responsible for so many things. In various areas which are very rich in receptors of estrogen are hippocampus, prefrontal cortex, and amygdala. The estrogen enhances synaptic plasticity. It also improves cerebral blood flow and it promotes glucose metabolism. And it supports various neurotransmitters. So when all these neurotransmitters level drops, all the symptoms which we see in our patients happen. And this metabolic drop, when the brain enters into this hypometabolic state in menopause, the metabolism and energy gap is, you cannot imagine, it is 20 to 25%. And then this drop activates the starvation pathway that triggers hot flashes and autoimmune instability. The menopause transition may shape a woman's brain health for decades to come. So it is not the story of one day कि आज menopause हो गया and brain के issues चालू हो गए. In fact, it occurs 20 to 30 years before the menopause occurs. So we do not lose memory suddenly in old age. We lose memory, brain resilience silently in midlife. So the take home for this point is हमको midlife में ही अपना काम brain के लिए चालू कर देना है. Patients को भी यही बताना है कि 30 years से ही आप अगर काम करेंगे तब जाके आप 50 year पे आपकी ब्रेन रेजिलियंस अच्छी होगी एंड यू विल नॉट गेट ऑल दोज ऑटोनॉमिक न्यूरो सिम्टम्स एंड ऑल दोज sleep issues, mood issues, so many issues. So the advice to our patients is protect the brain in midlife and preserve independence in old age. The midlife transition occurs over time and it is characterized by clinically various defined ages with specific neurological symptoms. These phases are stabilization phase. The various studies are showing that this turbulent perimenopausal dips. The gray matter volume also decreases, the metabolic rate also decreases. Then it comes to baseline level in postmenopause. The compensatory neuroplasticity occurs. What happens? जब एक जना नहीं आए तो दूसरा काम करने लगता है. तो अगर ग्लूकोज मेटाबॉलिज्म कम हो गया, कार्बोहाइड्रेट नहीं है, लिपिड्स काम करने लग जाएंगे, प्रोटीन्स काम करने लग जाएंगे, कीटोन्स काम करने लग जाएंगे. So brain will utilize those ketones and lipids and optimizes the remaining network. द पोस्ट मेनोपॉजल बेसलाइन. अच्छी बात यह है कि ब्रेन पोस्ट मेनोपॉज पे बहुत अच्छे से रीसेट हो जाता है, ऑप्टिमाइज हो जाता है. कॉग्निटिव परफॉर्मेंस टिपिकली स्टेबलाइजेज बैक टू नॉर्मल बेसलाइन लेवल्स वंस द ट्रांजिशन इज कंप्लीट. सो इट इज कंस्ट्रक्शन फेज, नॉट द डिस्ट्रक्शन फेज. इट इज नॉट द परमानेंट डीके, इट इज एक्टिव कंस्ट्रक्शन फेज. So we must remember and we should not be sad for this. The brain is real target organ of the menopause. As many evidence says that neurological symptoms and menopausal symptoms like hot flashes, disturbed sleep, mood changes, forgetfulness, all this target is not only the estrogen is responsible. There are many things which play role in midlife in women. The molecular level, the cellular level, and the system biology. Everything changes in midlife, and there is a broad impact of estrogen decline in neural processes via genomic and non-genomic actions. There is change in synaptic plasticity, there is change in neuronal number, the gene expression also changes, and then estrogen depletion is also linked to amyloid beta plaque accumulation, which is a hallmark of Alzheimer's disease. Now, if we do PET uptake in these females, the premenopausal, the perimenopausal, and the postmenopausal, the FDG PET uptake shows prominent changes during perimenopause, and higher accumulation changes appears decades before dementia appears. So, dementia is the permanent thing. उसके बाद हम कुछ नहीं कर पाएंगे. Dementia ना हो करके 20-30 साल पहले से हमको काम करना है. The structural renovation, multimodal MRIs, tracking shows a temporary volume reduction in DMV in the entorhinal cortex, the anterior cingulate cortex, and other areas of brain. Then there occurs upregulation of receptors. As in this image, it is showing that after menopause, the receptor concentration is more. The yellow area is more. And then the PET scan demonstrate the receptor density is more because ब्रेन खुद ही अपने आप को कोऑर्डिनेट करने की कोशिश करता है कि हमारे पास कम है तो अपने को कैचअप कैसे करना है. रिसेप्टर लेवल्स बढ़ा लेता है ब्रेन. सारे एरियाज में पोस्ट मेनोपॉज में रिसेप्टर लेवल्स विल इंक्रीज. दिस इज नॉट एनी स्पेकुलेशन. दिस वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट साइंस, द पेट स्कैन, द MRI, मल्टीमोडल इमेजिंग, एक्सेट्रा. So menopause must be recognized as a brain health milestone and it is a whole brain event. Now these are the multimodal neuroimaging. It shows various changes. We need not go to detail in this. Now what about males and men's and females? Do everybody has these changes? No. Men do not show the same pattern because the sex-specific brain aging shows something different. The women lost more total brain volume than men during 8.5 years of their follow-up. Women showed greater brain volume reduction in bilateral brain areas with or without correcting for total brain volume than men who exhibited greater brain reduction in midline brain areas. Now, we are very happy. Why we are happy? Because the adaptive changes are going to happen. And it is not, we are not going to lose anything. Some changes may be compensatory and adaptive. We are very happy. But yes, we are very vulnerable in this phase for cognitive decline and Alzheimer's. In adaptive process, what happens? What changes happen in brain? Various brain biomarkers largely stabilizes post-menopause. GMV also recovers post-menopause in key areas to prevent cognitive aging, and in vivo brain mitochondrial ATP production can be correlated with preservation of cognitive performance post-menopause. So it is a very good thing कि हमारा adaptive compensatory process brain में चलता रहता है और कोई भी permanent damage और decay नहीं होता है. This is summary of brain biomarker effects during the menopause transition. We could see how the amyloid beta deposition curve is moving, the fractional anisotropy, the gray matter volume, the white matter volume, and the glucose metabolism. Now, let's talk about Alzheimer's. It does not begin with memory loss. As I said before, it begins decades before symptoms. The pathological changes like beta accumulation, tau pathology, neuroinflammation, and tangles, formation of tangles, they start 20 to 30 years before clinical dementia. By the time memory loss appears, irreversible neuronal damage has already been occurred. That is a very important thing. So late diagnosis, we miss the prevention window, which we cannot afford. Now, why women bear a disproportionate burden? Nearly 2/3 of Alzheimer patients are women. The lifetime risk is 1:5 in women, then 1:10 in men. Risk is driven not only by longevity कि females ज़्यादा जीती हैं, ज़्यादा उनकी लाइफ स्पैन होती है, ऐसा नहीं है. उसके अलावा estrogen loss, genetic influence, energy metabolic changes, amyloid burden, and toxic tangles, they spread faster and more easily, leading to rapid cognitive decline. So ignoring sex-specific risk can delay targeted prevention. हमको जिस पे फोकस करना है, प्रिवेंशन पे फोकस करना है, वो डिले हो जाएगा अगर हम मेल और फीमेल को एक जैसे ट्रीट करेंगे और सेम आइज से देखेंगे. Alzheimer's is not an old age disease, it is a midlife disease. Many factors like metabolic health, vascular risk, sleep, stress can strongly influence risk of developing dementia. Women undergo a unique midlife neurological transition, we should always remember this, and it increases the susceptibility and vulnerability to cognitive decline. So we don't have any other option, only prevention, prevention, and prevention, and it starts in midlife, not in old age. But yes, now what is the solution? It is modifiable. Current treatment says prevention is the best. 30 to 40% of the dementia risk is preventable. How we can prevent it? Heart health is directly linked to brain health. So keeping good cardiac health, improving our metabolic health, cognitive engagement should be there, various places. Sleep optimization is a very important step, and hormonal and lifestyle strategy and synergy is the key. So prevention is the most powerful therapy, my dear friends, available, and we should focus on this. Now, how we can strategy हम कैसे बनाए prevention के लिए? It represents a clinical inflection point, perimenopause. तो हमको perimenopause में ही focus करना है, 30-35 years पे focus करना है. Biomarker screening का सहारा लेना है to detect early brain vulnerability and guide preventive measures. So we can name the menopause clinics as brain health clinics. Now various details of biomarkers we need not to go. Now what is the solution? What we can do? The timing hypothesis. The window of opportunity for MST is very crucial. We must remember this. Introducing estrogen during the transition protect brain bioenergetics. Waiting until a decade after menopause, once the brain has already settled, the permanent decay, if it is going to happen, has already occurred. Brain has already completed its resets, yields very different and potentially less beneficial effects for the neurological outcome. So what we have in our hand, that is lifestyle synergy, dietary changes, physical exercise, stress management. These are the most important epigenetic switches helping the brain to recalibrate efficiently. Lifestyle, healthy lifestyle, lifestyle medicine. This is the key. Stop smoking, drink in moderation, protect from head injury, stay connected with people. Social engagement can boost your brain health, as we are doing now in the conference. Socially connecting with people gives us so much happiness. Finds way to be part of your local community and spending quality time with your family and friends. Healthy heart goes hand in hand with healthy brain. Get regular checkups for obesity, high blood pressure, and diabetes. Keep your weight on check. Keep your BMI between 18 to 25. Cut down on starchy food. Nutritious Mediterranean style diet is very important and easy to follow. Engage in regular physical activity. Break a sweat with a minimum of 150 minutes of exercise every week. So I leave you all with these carry-on messages. Women face sex-specific brain risk during the menopause. Alzheimer's, as I already told, starts decades before memory loss. Once symptoms appear, damage is largely irreversible. This we need not to forget. We should always remember this. Biomarker shift care from reaction to prevention. Early recognition can delay or prevent dementia. Protecting the brain in midlife, protect independence later. So अभी थोड़ी तकलीफ दी, बाद में खुशी से रहेंगे. जैसे बच्चों को बोलते हैं अभी थोड़ी मेहनत कर लो, बाद में लाइफ अच्छी रहेगी. And then brain fog is common and usually reversible. Healthy aging of the brain is very much achievable. These are my references. Thank you so much. And midlife and menopause brain can be as beautiful and as happy as this pic is appearing. This picture I have taken from my terrace. Thank you so much for patient listening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Shalini. It was really an informative talk, how to prevent brain damage, whatsoever may be the reason. So I feel that to take care of your brain from menarche to menopause, we need to have support of spirituality and socialization, which will keep the balance and keep you, if you are happy, your brain is happy and your heart is happy. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you. And हमेशा विद्यार्थी बने रहना. Keep learning.
Yes,
ये
yes.
हमेशा brain को healthy और happy रखता है. Yeah, thank you, madam.
You have nicely explained the hormonal changes which not only create the menopause, and there is a way you explain the brain adaptation is also
Yes.
started.
Yes.
We should take care quite early because Alzheimer
Right,
have
right.
no treatment, but we can prevent.
Prevention.
This is the message learned from you. Very nicely explained each and everything.
Thank you so much, my dear chairpersons. Thank you so much. Prevention is the only cure. Stay connected is the only cure. And lifestyle medicine रहेगा तो fit रखेगा. Thank you so much.
Now I would invite Dr. Vinaya ma'am, Dr. Jyoti Jaiswal ma'am, Asha Jain ma'am, Nija ma'am for paper poster results, and Shalini Jain ma'am.
Dr. Neha Thakur, Dr. Arpana Verma, Rupali Verma, if she's here. I just want to brief 2 lines. Madam, please come with us on the stage. Dr. Jyoti, you are invited. We conducted the preliminary online paper poster session on 14th of June 2026. And we had the esteemed judges pan-India, Dr. Vishnu Priya, Dr. Dharani Temkar, Dr. Sarda Devi, Dr. Sridevi Velanki, Dr. Renu Jain, and Dr. Sugandha Goyal. We had 11 entries of free papers, good quality, and 15 posters, and 2 entries from above 40 category. Then the selected ones in the second round, we did a physical judgment. Judges were Dr. Sheila Mane, Dr. Indira Palo for papers, and Dr. Abhaya Patnaik and Dr. Tulika Jha for the posters. Now, Singh madam, please come. I welcome you, madam. Patron, Sheila madam, Tulika madam, Indira madam, please come on stage. And there was a tough competition, and I'm happy to declare the results here. First position, Dr. M.S. Darshana from Government Medical College, Mahasamund. She is a rural medical. Please give her a big hand. Darshana, can you just join on the stage? Very close to it is Dr. Akansha Baghel from Pandit Jayanam Medical College, Raipur. Akansha, if you are here, join us on stage. And then posters, we were very close. And first prize is Dr. Stuti Mishra. Stuti Mishra, are you here? Hidden behind dribbling, urinary dribbling poster from Balaji. Come on stage. And second position is Dr. Aditi Jadhav, when healing takes an unexpected turn, Balaji. So I welcome all the judges and the dignitaries. Dr. Abhaya Patnaik, is he there? Dr. Tulika? Yeah, please come on stage, sir. Dr. Tulika Jha. So thank you. I would say a big thanks to all the judges. Dr. Sheila Mani came first. Again. Okay, paper first prize, Dr. Yeah, madam is here. I'm here, that's okay. First prize paper, Dr. M.S. Darshana, Assessment of Prevalence of Overactive Bladder and Effect of Double Voiding Advance on Symptoms. Darshana. Akansha Jaiswal, Akansha Baghel second. Darshana. Raise your hand, Darshana. Okay. Akansha Baghel second. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Give her a big hand, everyone, please. And poster first prize, Tuti Mishra. Tuti Mishra. Raise your hand. Yes. And second, Aditi Jadhav. Okay. So big hand to everybody. And I'll read out the topics. Darshana was presenting on overactive bladder, assessment of prevalence and effect of double voiding advice. I think it was a very good paper. Patients did double voiding and they were relieved of symptom of overactive bladder. And Akansha Baghel, impact of neoadjuvant chemotherapy on surgical outcomes of CA vulva. Now this is very rare, but being a tertiary care referral center, we had 15 cases. And Stuti Mishra first poster, hidden behind urinary dribbling, a stony secret. And Aditi Jadhav, when healing turns an unexpected turn, genitourinary syndrome of menopause, a clinical experience. So I grandly thank all the judges for the patient. And Sheila madam, especially, she came first in the hall before us also. Thank you so much.
Big round of applause to all of you. And we request you and all the participants who will have their certificates at the valedictory.
Tomorrow 6 p.m. please come for the certificates.
Now I will